Newton is in the middle of Iowa. Iowa is in the middle of the country. And for the 12th year in a row, NASCAR's K&N Pro Series, East and West, well, they meet in the middle. It's been a long day already in Newton. The garage opened at 10 a.m. 7 p.m. driver intros happening now. Matt Levine and son Gus walking up. Nice do suit, Gus. And look at the media, getting younger all the time. Derek Thorne giving the scoop. Welcome, everyone, to the Iowa Speedway and the Casey's General Store 150 from Newton, Iowa. I'm Dave Burns, along with Derek Pernasiglio down on pit road. And next to me, the winner back in 2015, Brandon McReynolds. Combo races, man, they're special to you guys.
Yeah, you said it. Everything right here in Iowa Speedway, it's right in the middle of the country. And it's important in bragging rights for these K&N East and West teams to come here, do battle. And it's those bragging rights to take back home to your race shop saying that you're the best in the country in this series.
And with the Xfinity Series here, people might be watching, right?
Absolutely. You got to bank on it.
Here are the East Point standings. Ankrum leading after a couple of wins in a row. 30 points now over Tyler Dipple, his teammate.
Yeah, these David Gilliland racing machines, they've really separated themselves from the field. Really dominant. But Tyler Ankrum, he's definitely one to watch. A student of this sport, and it's really paying off for him in this points battle.
Here are the West Series standings. A whole lot closer, Brandon.
A lot of experience right there at the top with Ryan Partridge and Derek Thorne. But Derek Krause, a close third, still in the points battle.
9 points separating the top three. Let's head down to Derek to set up the night.
Well, Dave, once a year, every year, the East and the West Series converge here at the Iowa Speedway, and it's one of the East Series drivers that has the pole today, and here he is, straight from driver intros, Tyler Dipple. Tyler, after joining the DGR Crosley team, everything picked up for you. You got a win, got a pole this year, now another pole. The car's been fast all day. Could this be a repeat of Langley where you dominated the day?
Man, I hope so. You know, my DGR guys brought me another fast car today, and we've been really good all day. You know, ever since joining DGR Crosley, I feel like we've had a chance to win every race, which is an awesome feeling coming to the racetrack. But, yeah, I think hopefully a repeat of Langley would be nice, but I think we're going to be good tonight. We'll see how it all plays out.
You told me earlier, ever since you've joined this team, the pressure has been off when you go to the racetrack. Why is that?
You know, just because the cars are always fast, you know, it's kind of off your shoulders, you know, you kind of know the team's going to bring you a really fast car to the racetrack. So that's a little less stress, you know, you're going to get there and be fast. So it's been really good all year.
Well, we're going to see what the number 54 can do this year. The last 6 of 7 winners here at Iowa came from the front row.
I remember another guy who was on the front row for a couple of races in Iowa. Back in the day, it was you, Brandon. There you are.
I look a little nervous right there.
Were you?
Yeah, I think so. This is, yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know you guys were going to show this, but that was a really special night. This was the first of the combo races. There you see myself in the 16 car racing hard with William Byron in the 9, who is now a cup driver, and I guess that might be my claim to fame. I beat a cup driver in K&N East-West combo.
That was the May race. Nice burnouts there. Then came July.
Yeah, the July race was a little different. Racing against Rico Abreu up front. Man, he did the Dale Jr. infamous slide job on me, and just throwing slide jobs all night. But I learned how to run the top from Rico Abreu and came home with the checkered flag. Really great night for myself and my whole team over at Bill McAnally Racing.
Did you get a broom from Iowa Speedway?
I did, and actually Jeff Burton's hauler driver ended up using it, thinking it was his broom in his hauler. Because they had to haul it back for me.
That's perfect. Working man sees a broom, he's going to use it. Hey, you see the 10 different winners across the K&N Pro Series this year, Brandon. It's been a fun season.
It's definitely been a lot of fun, a lot of competition, and I'll be interested to watch Derek Krause tonight as he's in that 16 car, which has swept the last 4 races.
Sit down to Derek, who's going to tell us who he wants to watch.
Ryan Partridge, your point leader, will be one of our Who to Watch drivers here tonight, and he comes from Bob Bruncati's Sunrise 4 team. He is the point leader in the West Series right now, but only by 1 point over teammate Derek Thorne. When we talked earlier in the day, they said they've always had good cars here, but they've been trying to find a little more speed today. They're a little bit worried because they know, being the point leader by just 1 point, they can make some huge gains on teammate Derek Thorne, or they could lose a lot of ground.
I know from racing here at Iowa Speedway, one of the elements that's really going to help Ryan Partridge is that experience level. There's a lot of drivers in this field that haven't raced here that many times, and tough short track. It's one of the fastest we go to on the K&N West and East Series schedule. lot of different grooves to move around, but the place is really wore out, Dave. A lot of bumps, especially in the middle of turns 1 and 2 as these cars pace around right there in the center of the corner. Really important to get your car hooked up, and I'm sure Ryan Partridge and his crew chief Jeff Schrader are hoping they've done just that.
These middle-of-the-country winters, they have an effect on asphalt pavement. Your starting grid, as you look at it, you'll notice that Tyler Dipple is on the pole, as we saw, but to the rear for the start of the race. Unapproved adjustments for Derek Kraus, changed the motor. The 17 of Ankrum had a qualifying spin, had to change tires. Chase Cabry drugged the radiator pan. They had to work on that car. And power steering issues for Colin Garrett. And then times disallowed, failing post-qualifying technical inspection. The 27 of Sam Mayer, the 19 of Haley Deegan, and the 99 of Cole Rouse. It's going to mix things up at the start here, Brandon.
Absolutely, getting ready for the green flag. Good news for these guys starting in the back. A lot of different lanes to choose from.
Dipple fires off in the 54 at Iowa. And already 3 wide toward the back. Yeah, they're going to make some ground early if they can.
Tyler Dipple's definitely been doing his homework. We saw here a few months ago in the NASCAR K&N World Truck Series, the leader was always taking the outside, allowed you to get that momentum built up through turns 1 and 2 to get a strong run down the back straightaway.
Names and numbers a little mixed this weekend with the East and the West coming together. 54 Dipple, 6 is Thorne, 82 Spencer Davis in third, and the 42, I might point out, is Ruben Garcia Jr. this weekend as his teammate in the 2, Ryan Vargas, already sliding.
And we'll see a lot of that at the start of this race. A lot of these cars are going to be slipping and sliding. You can see the sun's out here at Iowa Speedway, but as it sets, these cars will start getting a little more snug, a little tighter, a little heavier on the front end, so to speak, for a driver, and so that handling issues that we see early on might go away as the night goes on.
I was going to ask you about that sun. Tomorrow's Xfinity Series race starts quite a bit earlier. Is the sun still an issue as they go down the backstretch in toward turn 3 and 4?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll watch this shade as this race progresses, and tomorrow night in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race, you'll see it setting in the middle of turns 3 and 4, and sometimes it'll creep up on you. You can't see anything as you turn off in the corner. That's where your spotter can help you a lot, helping you understand the gap in front of you and behind you to the cars that are surrounding you.
Saw Tyler Ankrum making his way forward in the 17, the 30, the black car, Tristan Van Wieringen, and now Cody Vanderwall to the outside of Cole Rouse.
And this is the first time that we brought this radial tire to this racetrack. In years past, what we've seen as this racetrack has wore out, we've seen these cars work their way to the top, really sideways for Cole Rouse in the 99. But as I was saying, Dave, what we've seen in the past is these guys surge to the top really quickly, trying to keep their momentum up. Be interesting to see what this radial tire does tonight.
It has definitely brought some newness to the K&N Pro Series combination race here at the Iowa Speedway, just underway. K&N Pro Series racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. To pit, but you'd think at some point, Brandon, you have to. I know with the Xfinity cars, you get about 100 laps here before you have to fuel the car. What about a K&N car?
Yeah, it's about the same, Dave. I mean, we're looking, a fuel run. I'm not Larry McReynolds, so I'm not that good at calculating fuel, but I know it's guys I've been talking to, Chris Lawson, Cody Glick, some of the crew chiefs over at David Gillen Racing. They're talking about being able to go to 100. I know they've been talking to their drivers under caution to make sure that they save fuel so they can get to that lap 100. Sounds like everybody's probably going to have that plan. Unless you just have an ill-handling race car, you might pit on that lap 50.
Great battle up front between the DGR Crosley cars. Derek.
We've been listening to the number 17 of Tyler Ankrum on the radio, and he just communicated to his crew chief, Seth Smith. The car is getting tighter and tighter the further we go into this run. It's a little tight from the center off, and Seth Smith replied, that's good information to know. Now we'll know what adjustments to make when we come in for that 50-lap break.
So if that's a situation for Ankrum, Brandon, what would you suggest he does behind the wheel?
Well, we're seeing Ankrum and Tyler Dipple, his teammate, do just that. They're moving up the racetrack. As you move up the racetrack at this speedway, your car will free up a little bit. You don't have as much bend in the wheel. You're not turning it as much. So that'll take it a lot easier on that right front tire. That's the biggest thing. You just want to make sure you don't overheat your right front. You want to be able to get to your window on fuel. Make sure you can come down pit road, put 4 tires on, and go get them the last 50.
Thorne and Davis. Davis had to regroup after a little contact earlier. Thankfully, no tire rub or damage to either car's Goodyear radial that was affected. Offenders can do that sometimes.
Absolutely. Those 5-star bodies, they can be very forgiving on these K&N cars. Unlike the steel bodies that we used to run years ago, when you used to get into someone with that right front fender on a steel body, you were on borrowed time and you better hit pit road. But definitely a great body that we've gone to. It looks good, looks fast, a lot of side bite in it, a lot of grip. So it's definitely been a positive change for the series.
Kyle Benjamin in the 1, Dylan Bassett in the 44. That is for 5th. Now, Benjamin has already had 71 laps on track today in practice, and his Xfinity car was 5th quick in the final practice. That's got to pay off. Yeah,
and I know talking to Kyle down in the garage area, he wasn't super pleased with the handling on this race car. Definitely excited about his opportunity to come run for Shiggy Hattori out here in the K&N combo race, but a lot of laps around here, and he's definitely run well in the Xfinity car in years past.
Let's head back up to where 3rd place is being contested. Derek?
Watching a great battle right now between Derek Thorne and the number 82 of Spencer Davis. Spencer Davis on the bottom. Said the car was a little bit loose, but they made the changes to the car that they think will go in the right way when the sun goes down and the night starts to come in. Derek Thorne, on the other hand, in that number 6 car, of course, him being a past West Series champion, and it's been 5 years since he's raced at this track, and he said tonight, our goal would just be to get a top 10.
You know, I think he can aim higher than that if you're Derek Thorne, right?
He's racing towards the front. His experience, Dave, is really paying off. He's fighting hard with Spencer Davis, keeping him pinned down on the bottom. One of the things that we have seen with this radial tire, and I've witnessed even from the driver's seat, is it's really hard to pass. Once these restarts shake out, everyone's so quick. Everyone's equipment is so well prepared back at the shop. So when you show up at the racetrack, those restarts are so important to keep track position because everyone's just running the same times out there, it seems like.
Restart so critical, and you know, as you move up the ladder, they get tougher because everybody knows that's where you've got to make your time.
Well, and as that equipment gets better and better in this series, it's a lot like the Cup Series, just in a smaller format or smaller version. These guys, you fight aero balance. I know racing last week in Loudon, New Hampshire, I'm sitting there running 6th, racing hard with Tyler Dipple, racing hard with Anthony Alfredo. I felt like I had a little better car towards the end of the race, but you just can't go anywhere. You get stalled out, and that's where we see really good racing here at Iowa Speedway. You can move around a lot of different options for different grooves to try to charge your way towards the front.
3, sometimes 4 wide at the Iowa Speedway. 7/8 of a mile created by Rusty Wallace and others to be progressively banked so that the guy on the top can have as much speed as the guy on the bottom who's taking the shorter way around. It's kind of playing out here. Ankram's kind of dipping down to that low side. Okay, now Dipple's going to take it in 3 and 4.
Seems like both cars are handling really well, obviously, as they're up front running 1-2, pulling away from the rest of the field. But it seems like Ankram, he's such a student in this sport. He reminds me a lot of William Byron in a way. I talked to him for a long time in Thompson, Connecticut before a race up there. He does a lot of work on iRacing, things like that. He's really smooth. I know he had some troubles in qualifying, but definitely a lot of respect for that young man. And it looks like he's just sizing up his teammate Tyler Dipple here, trying to battle for the lead.
He wasn't supposed to race the whole season. They had a discussion after South Boston. Dad told him on the way to the airport, son, we're going to do it. And Tyler said, okay. And here they are, leading the championship by 30 points over the guy he's chasing right there, his teammate. And there is the caution for the first break of the evening. 150 laps separated by 2 breaks and maybe an occasional caution for something else. We've already had one of those. And now teams will have to make that decision. There is one fresh set of tires waiting for them for the rest of the night. There's also some fuel they may want to put in their car. See what happens. We'll tell you about it when we come back to Iowa. Casey's General Store 150 from the Iowa Speedway. The top 12 cars you see there stayed on the racetrack. Behind them, the orange 82 of Spencer Davis, who was running 4th, and the white number 1 of Kyle Benjamin. They were among the leaders that did come down pit road. Restart in Iowa.
There you see again that top lane for Tyler Dipple really paying off. He gets a strong launch down the back straightaway and clears Tyler Ankrum by a couple of car lengths. It's just so important, especially as we get more and more laps on these tires for these leaders, to take that outside groove. Just a lot more grip up there in the middle of the racetrack, getting going on a restart.
And the good news for Ankrum is he didn't give up any track position by coming to pit road. The bad news is didn't get his car changed at all and has been having a hard time getting around his teammate. Good battle back there. Derek Thorne and Haley Deegan now diving to the inside in the 19.
Once again, we see Hailie Deegan week after week just getting better and better as the week goes on, learning this racetrack. This is a tough track to come to for your first time, just learning all the different characteristics, how wore out it is, how you have to keep your momentum up and really work that traffic as you work your way through the field. Doing a really good job. And new crew chief of Kevin Reed Jr. working with her. His dad, crew chiefs for Billy Venturini Racing, so a lot of experience there for that young man working with Hailie Deegan in the 19 car.
A lot of experience up front at their young ages so far, and Dibble is trying to hold off Ankrum. Good battle for the lead.
There we see it again, Dave. Tyler Ankrum knows these restarts are so important. He's got to put the pressure to his teammate, Tyler Dibble, in the 54. Really smart move, running in behind him right on that left rear quarter. If he can just get close enough without making contact, sometimes you can free up that car in front of you, try to get him up the hill a little bit, try to take away the lead.
Dibble, the 18-year-old from New York in the 54 car. Ankrum, the 17-year-old from California, trying to chase him down. He's caught him. He just cannot get by him.
He's just searching for that clean air that we spoke about earlier. It's so important to keep a little bit of air on that left front of your nose. You try to shoot down to the bottom, and sometimes these cars, they don't have a ton of horsepower, so they get a little bound up. You definitely got to use all the racetrack to keep momentum up, trying to make that pass.
Ruben Garcia Jr. on the outside in the 42, getting passed by Dylan Bassett, or not giving it up quite yet. Garcia, first-time winner back at Memphis in his 34th start in the series. Let's head down to pit road and Derek.
It's been a really good run so far for the number 42 of Ruben Garcia Jr. He's from the East Series. He has 2 previous starts at this racetrack, but he said this is one of his favorite tracks to come to. The reason why he likes it so much is because it reminds him of the Aguas Calientes track that they raced down in Mexico in the Peak Mexico Series. It's a very familiar track to him, the same type of banking and the same type of shape. He feels very comfortable, and he knows that he can go fast here.
Ruben's the most recent winner in that series and leads the championship again this year after 5 races. He won the series back in 2015 and once again has the point in the NASCAR Peak Mexico Series. Trying to do all he can right now with Dylan Bassett, and that's a tough deal. They stay side by side in Iowa, which is what we like. We'll be right back. Back at Iowa Speedway, it has been fun to see these guys going 3 and 4 wide sometimes, and Derek Thorne right now has his hands full with that 6 car. Here comes Ryan Vargas in the 2, and the 99 is Cole Rouse. He's going to split the difference.
I don't expect Cole Rouse to give Derek Thorne in the 6 much room. We've seen these guys at Douglas County just a few weeks ago racing really hard, had some contact there late in the going, but looks like Cole Rouse definitely has a little bit better car right now as he's marching forward. Strong run for him, and definitely a lot of experience over there. New crew chief and Ron Otto. Bill McAnally has been working really hard to make changes, just trying to make that organization better, and they've been building more and more speed as the weeks go on.
Spencer Davis gets through as well in the 82 car. So these 2 Bob Bruncati cars, the blue and orange cars, both stopped in the first break. We have another break coming up here. Looks like they adjusted on their cars, Brandon, but didn't do enough at this point to really get themselves more speed on the track.
Yeah, Dave, and I don't fault their crew chiefs for pitting. I mean, these 3 cars, they were running towards the front, but still struggling with the handling of those cars. What we're seeing here is them just fighting for that track position. We talked about it all night long. Guys just trying to fight for that clean air. But I expect to see these 3 hit pit road again, get their tires, fill back up with fuel, make some wholesale changes on those cars to try to plunge forward to the front and have a shot at racing with those David Gillen racing vehicles there at the end of the race.
Rouse in the black and yellow 99 is running 8th. This is the battle for 9th. Partridge in the 9 on the bottom. Spencer Davis in the 82 has to give it up here.
Spencer looks like he's not going to go down without a fight, just trying to work over Ryan Partridge, shoot back down towards the bottom. But sometimes in that situation, you're just better off to fall in line, not give up, but just make sure that you keep your tires underneath in your equipment until you can get to that break and get those adjustments made that you need done by your pit crew.
Alfredo slow coming out of 4 in the 40 car. Could it be he is low on fuel? We talked about how far they could go, and a number of them, 12 cars, Brandon, stayed out at that first break. And it looks like Alfredo, he doesn't have any power at all.
We knew it was going to be close, Dave, and that's what was so important for these crew chiefs and these drivers to have a plan. If you were going to go to lap 100 or around lap 100 until that break, it was imperative that you save fuel as a driver under cautions just to make sure you could get there.
Now, we don't know for sure, but caution is out now for the second break, and as we noted, that was a bit of a stretch to get all this way. And we'll see if we can get confirmation on what's up with the 40 car as he now is going to be stopping on the backstretch. There's the leader, Tyler Dipple, and he was making his way through some pretty fast race cars. Actually, was coming up on the back end of Spencer Davis there right before the caution came out, so good news for Davis. But Dipple's one of those cars that stayed at 2. So if Alfredo's situation is fuel, Brandon, then there's got to be some concern up here at the front.
Absolutely, Dave. I'm sure a lot of these crew chiefs are telling these young drivers to make sure that they're saving fuel even under this yellow. There you see the 54 pulling down right there.
Down to the apron. And why does he do that?
He's trying to get out of the way. He's out of fuel. There you see him shaking it back and forth, trying to get fuel to the pickup in that fuel cell.
That's over on the right-hand side, and when they hit the banking, it slings the fuel over there, right?
Absolutely. That's what he's doing, just working it back and forth. And, yeah, he's definitely running out of fuel here, slowing down. Tough break for Tyler Dipple.
Oh, my. Leader of the race out of fuel in Iowa. Nice night of racing for the fans here at the Iowa Speedway. K&N Pro Series style combination of the East and the West. So far, it has been the East cars up front. Tyler Dipple in that 54, his teammate Tyler Ankrum have been the show. But just before the 2/3 break, he ran out of fuel. A number of drivers, 12 to be exact, stayed out at the first break opportunity to fill them up. And it cost Tyler Dipple big time. He is a lap down, will restart the race in 13th position. That leaves the lead and the control to his teammate Tyler Ankrum in the 17. Gets a nice jump, but so does Garcia in the 42 on the bottom lane.
Yeah, the biggest thing for Tyler Ankrum right here on this restart is to make sure he just lays down some qualifying laps. We're getting towards the end of this race. He's got to make sure and keep that track position and be perfect in the closing laps of this race.
Big dive down to the bottom there by Derek Thorne and Haley Deegan making a pass on Spencer Davis. That's white 19 of 16-year-old Deegan.
And right now, if you're going to make a pass, Dave, you're going to have to do it on the bottom. A lot of these guys are going to guard the middle to the top. You got to make sure and just get all you can on these fresh tires. It's really important. That's about the best way to make a pass right now is at the beginning, right after the restart, you got your full of fuel, most of these guys, and you got tires on there to go get after it and try to get some track position.
Should give Haley some credit. She just turned 17. You know, you gotta celebrate when you have a birthday, right?
Absolutely, especially when 17. That's exciting. Heck, I'm 27. I feel like I'm getting old.
She almost celebrated the race before this in the West Series at Douglas County. Finished second to her teammate Derek Kraus. That was a career best. Set down to Derek.
Guys, we were listening to the race directors over the radio, and apparently the number 99 of Cole Rouse suffered a restart infraction, and he's going to have to come through for a pass-through penalty.
Oh, boy. When the race director speaks, you got to listen, don't you, Brandon?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And tough break for Cole Rouse and that 99 team. I know he's been really excited to work with Ron Otto, his new crew chief, on that West Series car. Had a tough break in Loudon, had to go to the back of the field after qualifying. So it just seems like nothing can go right from him. But it's most important as a young driver to just keep that confidence up. He had a strong run here going tonight. He just got to stay after it and try to come back next week and keep plugging forward. It's hard when your confidence is down. We've all been there as young racers.
Tell you who it's going right for is that white number 2 of Ryan Vargas. That car was so loose at the start of the race, Brandon, I didn't think he'd have a handle all night long, but he's maintained and currently holds down that third position.
And this racetrack, it just seems like every single year we come here, you just start off the race so loose and you're just hanging on for dear life, it feels like sometimes. And Ryan Vargas did a good job, kept that car pointed in the right direction. I'm sure they made some good changes. His Rev Racing team under the brake, trying to get that handling better and having a really strong run.
Can see 15 laps down for Derek Kraus in the 16 car. Spent a number of laps on pit road with the hood up, and they had changed a motor after qualifying, so potentially more problems there for him. Anthony Alfredo in the 40, now 4 laps down after running out of fuel and getting passed on the racetrack during that time. So Been a rough night for these two.
I'm sure Bill McAnally's excited to see Haley Deegan up there racing really hard, just battling up towards the front.
Crossover.
Yeah, especially with both of their teammates really struggling with issues, and Cole Rouse having that issue on that restart.
Can they bring the McAnally-Bruncati battle to a combo race, Brandon? Is that okay?
It seems like it. We've been watching it all night. These teams, I guess, are so used to competing on the West Coast that they just decided to come out here and trade a little paint in Iowa.
Well, Haley has to give way right now. Derek Thorne gets that spot, and here comes her teammate, who is not racing for the win anymore, but trying to show he's still got speed in that 16 car. Strong runs are what Haley needed. She showed speed early in the season, but the consistency wasn't there, and that's coming together a lot more for her now. Back to Vargas, who is going to get passed by Partridge for fourth. Ryan had a nice opportunity of his own with his family race team and was racing a street stock type car at the Las Vegas Bull Ring when he was he won for the first time, he told me, a few years back, and was approached by a gentleman he didn't really even know. The guy's name was Dave Eshelman, the former mayor of Fontana, California, who helped get the Auto Club Speedway started with Roger Penske. He was so impressed with what young Ryan was doing on the track, he said, "I've got a driver development program. My sons are racing. We'd like to put you in one of our cars." And Ryan told me that was where I got my big break. Much like these guys are hoping someone's watching as the Xfinity Series is here at Iowa. Someone was watching that night for Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. I mean, I know coming here as a young racer, we talked about it during that back in the day feature, winning at this racetrack. This is your biggest stage in this series, you know, competing against the East and the West. It's really important to have a good run. A lot of these Xfinity teams, their garage is getting ready to close for the evening, and I'm sure a lot of them and a lot of their owners are sitting here watching, and Cup guys being up in Pocono, they're paying attention to this race as well.
Bruncati teammates in the orange and blue. Right now, Partridge ahead of Thorne. Back here, this isn't a battle for position. Anthony Alfredo laps down Haley Deegan on the lead lap. And behind her, Tyler Dipple in the 54, who you remember was, whoa, contact right there. The 40 of Alfredo moving up the track, and Deegan collects him. What in the world?
Dave, I can't believe that. That's, in that situation, I don't even know what to say. That's tough. I hate that for Haley Deegan. She had a really strong run going and just gets put up in the fence by a lap car. There's just, as a racer, there's no excuse for that. If it's not your ninth, then you got to give way to the leaders, especially your top 10 race cars, as Haley was running inside the top 10.
Did he think he was clear? I mean, that he kind of came across like he had been cleared, or he thought he was clear.
Yeah, watching him come down the back straightaway just off of turn 2, he's giving a room, and then it just looks like he starts inching up towards the wall.
That's not clear.
Maybe a little bit of miscommunication between Anthony Alfredo and his spotter. Tough break for Haley Deegan, though.
Big damage to both cars. Haley's on pit road in front of Derek.
Well, the Bill McAnally racing crew going to work on the number 19 machine of Haley Deegan. You can see all the cosmetic damage in the front nose of the car. They're looking at the front end right now. They see some water dripping out from the radiator area. It's not running completely out. It's just got a small drip, so the crew is down here. They're trying to assess the damage on the number 19 machine, but right now there's a lot of cosmetic damage, and don't know if there's any suspension or structural damage to the race car.
Anytime you see that water dripping out of the bottom onto pit road there, as you can see below the 19 car of Haley Deegan, that's a tough break. I'd be really shocked if she was able to get back out there, Dave.
Big disappointment for her. You see the 17 is the leader. That's Tyler Ankrum. Down there on the inside, you saw the 54. Right ahead now is Tyler Dipple. He'll get the free pass here and get the 54 car back on the lead lap. We'll line him up for you when we come back to Iowa. Is complete at the Iowa Speedway. Casey's General Store 150 getting down to the most important laps. Coming to the finish, Tyler Ankrum in the white and black 17 is the leader. He'll take the outside line again. Ruben Garcia Jr. in that 42 down to the inside will restart second. And then the second row, Spencer Davis in the orange 82 and Ryan Partridge in the 9. Pace car is down to pit lane. That leaves it in the hand of the starter. Ankrum gets the green at Iowa.
Ruben Garcia, much better restart at the bottom. He's really crowded at 17, 3 wide for the lead down into 1.
Spencer Davis takes a peek. He can't make it work. Garcia tries to hang on, but Ankrum is going to pull away off of 2.
And there's that momentum once again, Dave. Just that strong launch. The 17's able to open up his exit, get that good run, and really good run off of turn 4 right here. He's able to clear the 42, Ruben Garcia, by a few car lengths.
Garcia's not giving up. 15 to go here. Remember, it was late in the Memphis race when Garcia came back. Oh, contact, and the 43 of Vanderwall is around and in the wall. Caution is out again. And pretty much punched in the backside of that 43 car.
I know that's the last thing Tyler Ankrum wanted to see. He got away with one. Ruben Garcia was able to hold with him on that last restart.
Look at Ruben driving up there saying, I'm here, pal.
Yeah, I still got your number there, bud. Yeah.
Top of the screen, you see that smoke and contact between Vanderwall, who was coming up to complete a pass on the 7 of Devin Dodson, and it didn't work out.
We've seen that a few times, just everyone fighting for the same real estate, the same situation almost as Anthony Alfredo and Haley Deegan. Just really hard racing here in the late going of this race. Guys fighting for the same real estate, trying to get down in the corner.
All right, now what's the mindset of the front row here, Brandon?
The 17's just thinking, just make sure I don't spin my tires right here. Get a good restart. He knows he has a better car than Ruben Garcia in the 42, but he can't let his guard down. You mentioned it. Ruben Garcia got the lead late going in Memphis not too long ago, and I'm sure Tyler Ankrum hasn't forgotten about that.
Behind him, teammates, and how will that play out? 11 to go when they get the green here. They enter the restart area. Green flag is out. Tyler Ankrum with the jump. Here comes Ruben Garcia. Ankrum is going to get a push from the 6 of Thorne.
That push by Derek Thorne definitely helped. It might have pushed the 17 up the racetrack a little too far, but he got it pointed. He's going to have a good run down the backstretch.
Garcia had the nose out front, but there's that momentum one more time. Here's Garcia to the bottom in the 42.
And right here, the biggest thing Tyler Ankrum has to make sure he does is don't overshoot turn 1. That last restart, he almost drove in there a little too deep, got high up in the bumps just over the tunnel in the center of the corner. Just hit your marks, stay calm, and let your equipment take over. And he's starting to march away from these guys.
Garcia trying the crossover. He knows he's vulnerable. Thorne has a very fast race car. Thorne is going to clear him this time, but Garcia is going to try that low line in 3 and 4 again.
And there he is. Partridge going to turn down underneath both those guys, making it 3 wide. Really good exit for Ryan Partridge in the 9.
They split either side of Garcia, and Partridge is going to try to take them both.
And he's got to keep his momentum up right here. He's got to crowd those guys up, make sure to take away their exit. He's able to clear the 42 of Ruben Garcia.
The teammates end up side by side, heading into 3 with 9 to go.
And how about it, Dave? Both these guys, they were struggling to even stay on the lead lap, and they're up here battling really hard, trying to run down the leader of Tyler Ankrum in the 17.
They've worked on their cars, been to pit road 2 times, have each of the teammates for Bob Bruncati. They've made them better. What a battle.
There's Spencer Davis there lurking back there 5th in the orange car, the 82. Wholesale changes on that car as well.
So Garcia falls back to 4th position. Spencer Davis trying to gobble him up there. Derek?
Well, you may be watching a battle for the 2nd place spot right now, but what you're actually watching is a battle for the West Series point lead. Derek Thorne runs in the 2nd spot right now with that number 6 car. The number 9 of Ryan Partridge, his teammate, is the point leader, but they're only separated by 1 single point. Whoever finishes in front of the other here tonight will take the point lead.
Great reminder, Derek. The race within the race tonight, this is a combination race between the East and the West, and both points championships will be affected.
And how cool is it to see 2 teammates that are veterans at that getting around this racetrack? They have a lot of experience here. They're going to race each other really hard. Close battle between these 2, but they're going to race each other clean at the same time.
So that settles down for the moment. You still see Spencer Davis lurking back there, trying to find his way by Garcia for 4th, and Tyler Ankrum has legged it out here in that 17 with just 5 to go, has a clear advantage over the field trying to win in Iowa.
And those 2 guys, Ruben Garcia Jr. in the 42 and the 82 of Spencer Davis, I mean, we got to give them a shout out and really talk about those guys. I mean, it's huge for them to come out here and compete. Rev Racing, you know, they have some really great people over there, Mark Green, and they do a really nice job, but they don't have all the funding that some of the David Gillen Racing or some of these other powerhouse teams have, but both of those teams, including Spencer Davis, doing a really nice job racing up in the top 5.
Spencer drives for Danny Watts Jr. It was a very small operation, gets a little bit of help from Rhett Jones Racing. to get to the racetrack every week, and Spencer hasn't gotten to every race. He's missed 2 of them, just, basically based on budget this year. He's doing a great job tonight. As they continue side by side, you got to be so careful. Tires are worn out at this time, Brandon, but it's the last laps of the race.
And heads-up move for Ruben Garcia Jr. to pin Spencer Davis to the 82 down on the bottom to stay on that quarter panel. These guys are going to fight hard, but one of the things I know with Spencer, because I fight it with my K&N program as well, he's only got 1 car. He's got to make sure that he takes this car, being that he's having a good run, and move on to his next race.
Some of those passes we haven't seen be clear. He needs it to be right. He does. Gets by Garcia. You see a look at his season there. And that's going to be 1 more position for Spencer Davis tonight. Well, Tyler Ankrum has won 2 races in a row in the East. This counts as an East Series race, even though it's a combo. And he's just seen the white flag. Trying to win his 3rd in a row, the 17-year-old from Colton, California, now moved to North Carolina to pursue his stock car racing career. There he is, through 3 and 4. Ankrum is going to do it. Clear sailing to the checkers. Tyler Ankrum is going to win in Iowa.
What a statement race by Seth Smith and that whole entire David Gillen racing team. Tyler Ankrum just doing a really nice job tonight, dominating the last 3 races that we've been to.
Cools it down now, gets ready for everything that comes with winning a NASCAR race, the celebration. Of course, a few questions from Derek, which is great. We want to know how he did this again. We'll come back to Iowa and visit Victory Lane, where you'll see that car and a very happy 17-year-old driver. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N high-flow air filters and air intake systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Well, there will be some debate from Bristol and from Slinger Speedway and others, but man, I'm telling you, it puts on a great show, does Iowa Speedway. And Victory Lane, it's a good-looking place right now for Tyler Ankrum. I see Derek down there. Yep, he's going to get him out. And, of course, they're going to get wet. Oh, and then the confetti. Yeah. It's great to win, but I guess you get wet and then you get this stuff all over you. Just part of the deal, right, Derek?
Tyler Ankrum pulls the hat trick here tonight at the Iowa Speedway, and that's 2 out of 3 times you had to come from the rear. How did you do it?
Once again, don't know. I was so surprised how fast we got to the front those first 50 laps, and actually I probably used too much those first 50 laps, and I just couldn't get around Dipple. I actually got extremely lucky with him running out of fuel right there and having to go over to the back, but awesome car by these guys at DGR Crosley once again. I mean, it's just, I think I give them too much credit sometimes, but they worked that hard. So, you know what? We're going to go to Watkins Glen. This was huge for us today. It's 3 in a row. It's my rookie season too, so it's pretty awesome. Actually, it's still pretty surreal, you know, going all these different places in new states this year, and it's been a thrill ride so far. Hey, sweetheart.
That's David Gilliland, the car owner, on the phone right now with Tyler Ankrum, but he's going to talk to his car owner. We're going to step away. Tyler Ankrum wins another one. That's 3 in a row for this rookie who extends the point lead.
Such a cool moment for Tyler Ankrum, able to win these 3 races and really just shoot ahead of the field in points and everything, but a lot of confidence for him. I know he struggled in years past with his super late model program, that got that back on track, and it's definitely crossing over here into the K&N East Series as well.
Fun to get a phone call from the boss in Victory Lane. He's known the Gillilands a long time. Grew up racing go-karts against Todd out in the Riverside, California area. There you see the rest of the results there. Let's head back down to Derek, who is with Derek.
Well, Derek Thorne's a former champion of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. Started second, finished second tonight. You dropped back during the middle of the race, but did you think you would be able to get back up there?
No, I really didn't. We had a right front blister real bad, actually kind of chunk, and lost a lot of track position. Had no idea what was wrong. They put on new tires, and we got very fortunate the way the 100-lap brake fell. We were like last car in the lead lap, and then the leader ran out of gas. We got our lap back kind of thing, and we started on the outside. Everything, we just been really fortunate all weekend. The Sunrise Ford guys never gave up. Ryan, they made wholesale changes on their car in the 9, and then they come home 2 second and third for us. Normally I don't run that well here, so for us, I feel like it's a win.
Well, now, with you finishing in front of Ryan, you guys are tied for the point lead. So what is that going to be like at the team meeting come Monday morning?
I think it's all good. You know, Ryan and I, we've really, I didn't know Ryan much before this year, but now that we've been working together on the same team, I feel like we're on the same page, share notes, share ideas, you know, and that's what it takes to compete. You know, at this level, we gotta put our heads together, all of us, Bill Sedgwick, Bob Brancotti, all these guys have been working really hard to make our program better, and it's showing. You know, we're running up front, having good finishes, and, you know, Lady Luck, never hurts to have her on our side. I know the BMR guys didn't have a great night, but, you know, it just kind of worked out for us.
A good, strong run for a former K&N Pro Series West champion.
Definitely a strong run for the Sunrise Ford teams, and that's huge to not have that well of a handling car to come out of here second and third as a team. A lot of momentum going into the rest of their races.
We'll show you the East and the West points here. Ankrum increases his lead, but of course, we mentioned the tie. There it is, 335 apiece. By the way, Partridge raced in the Southwest Tour Series for the first time a couple weeks ago. Guess who was the winner of that race? Derek Thorne. So they're always around each other, and they're making the West Championship look fun.
Well, Ryan Partridge finishes third tonight with the Sunrise Ford team and now ties up the point lead in the West Series with his teammate Derek Thorne. It was a real fun race to watch with you guys out there, but how many changes did you guys end up making during the course of the race?
Oh, it was pretty wild. I mean, if you asked us before the race started how the race was going to be, how we were going to finish, I thought it was going to be catastrophic. I mean, I think we qualified 11th or something like that. It was absolutely horrible. The car was just junk. The drop of the green, we were racing to go straight back. I think we fell back to 16th or 17th or 18th. I don't know. We were way back there. So at the first 50, we came in and we made a ton of adjustments. Got to hand it to the boys. We did a right rear spring change, a right rear shock change, did a bunch of cross weight. They did a couple other things, and anyways, just really roll them dice and see what we got. So anyways, we took a little too long making that shock change, and they sent us to the back after the first 50 after the break. So we started dead last for the last 100 laps. By the second break, we ended up charging up to 6, which was just a wild ride. We really had a really good long run car. Anyways, bolted some tires on, made it a little bit better, I think, and we just didn't have the short run speed that we needed to finish the last 50 strong. We charged up to second from 6th. Then our teammate Derek Thorne ended up getting by us on that last restart. Ours was just really unstable, really free for the first couple laps, actually, until we could kind of get her tuned up and get that right front heated up and stabilize the car. But anyways, it was a great night for Sunrise Ford, Lucas Oil Eyebox Springs Ford Fusion, Jeff Schrader, the crew chief, Bill Sedgwick, everybody in the shop and on the crew. Obviously, they hustled all day and made a huge swing at the break. Like I said, I'm sitting on cloud 9 because I didn't think we'd be up here, but to be tied with our teammate, that's rough, but we'll take it.
Bob Brancotti's team showing a lot of momentum this year. Ryan Partridge comes home in third.
And Dave, once again for that Sunrise team, a lot going on to be able to come home third right behind his teammate and second in the West Series race. Pretty impressive night.
There you see the next K&N race. It'll be from the road course at Watkins Glen. And Brandon, we looked at the long-range forecast today, didn't we? A little bit of rain on race day?
I know I'm not excited. I actually got to go up there and work with Noah Gregson and Spot. I'll be in the bus stop. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I'm definitely going to pack my poncho.
Hoping for dry weather. They'll race it either way in the K&N Pro Series. A lot of action here tonight at the Iowa Speedway. A couple of wrecked race cars. Not sure if it needed to happen or not, but it was another thrilling night of racing in the K&N Pro Series. Tyler Ankrum wins 3 in a row and takes his championship lead to new heights from Iowa.